you guys should know, this is Fantasy Realm, where I'm going to do a review of my anime, say why not I may not like it, and then give my professional opinions and reviews about it. So basically, Gibiate is an anime that just came out and ended September 30th, which was a Wednesday, last Wednesday by the time the video actually comes out. That being said, I have watched it, have my thoughts about it, have my opinions, and I'll be rating this out of three main topics: the story, the animation, and the uniqueness of everything evolving around the actual anime. First, we're going to start with the first topic, which is the story. Assuming you don't know the story of Gibiate, long story short, is basically a post-apocalyptic world where everyone's being mutated into this Gibiate, which they have one of two functions: infect humans, so they become monsters themselves, or kill humans because they can't affect them. So if you see one, it's probably best to avoid it. But anyways, there's also time travel introduced, where, long story short, three people from Edo period Japan, like samurai warriors and Oda Nobunaga, some other featured people, they came back. Oda is not one of them, but there's three warriors from Edo period Japan. They come back. They're actually ridiculously strong fighting against this Gibiate, but we don't know how they actually time traveled or if they're able to get back. That being said, the entire show takes place in the present, technically future from our standpoint, but it takes place in the future, trying to fight off this Gibiate, trying to make a vaccine and or cure to prevent people from turning to Gibiate, or to have people revert back from being a Gibiate back to being human. Yeah, the story is actually really simple, probably why it's only a 12 episode anime. If I had to give this story 8 out of 10, well, I will give this story 8 out of 10, just for the simple fact that there are some little pieces here and there that doesn't necessarily like connect, and even then there's some events that happen in the story which was to seem more like lazy editing, if not anything else. Not lazy like bad, but lazy like it could have done better with more effort, in my opinion, obviously. But the story is real simple. It's still pretty good either way. And if you like the post-apocalyptic free game franchise like Doom or Fallout, or even like Call of Duty Zombies, you like this anime more often than not. Even if you like Edo period Japan, it's not really important for the story itself. So I wouldn't base that off whether you should watch it or not, because they mention Edo maybe like 4 or 5 times in the show, and really briefly to give backstory. It does have some history in it, but like I said, it's not really important for the story itself, other than the fact that you know where 3 of the characters came from. And now we cleared the first hurdle. Let's go to the second topic of animation. Alright, just to clarify, when I mean animation, I mean the art style, the way, like art style as in everything, how everything is drawn, and also the fight scenes, because those are like the things that carry an anime in my opinion. Even the story is like really good and needs good animation to go with it for it to be like top tier. But the animation, the art style itself, not animation yet, the art style itself is actually really good. Everyone looks good, drawn detail. There's some minor things like people have long necks for whatever reason, but the buildings are drawn really nice. The mechanism cars and stuff are really nice. Character design is very unique, and each character have their own like style to them. And there are some weird things like random lip colors for the characters. I didn't know I was watching JoJo mixture with post-apocalyptic, but it's still pretty good. And I'm not dissing on JoJo art style. I actually like it. It's one of my favorite art styles, but still, it's like realistic with like random features. If I had to describe it, that's how I would describe it. But since the art style is good, but the actual fighting scenes is what brings it the scale lower. Out of a 10-point scale, I'll rate the animation like overall like 6 out of 10, just because the fight scenes are like comic book panels. There's not the comic book panel of noise. That's just the best way I can explain it. They don't actually show much action. If they do, it's poorly animated in my opinion. But why I keep saying but? Also, the Gibiate themselves are like 3D animation, which personally that bugs me a lot, because like I can't get around that. I prefer drawing art style over 3D art style. But if you like Ruby or even like the JoJo theme songs or whatever, I think you would like the adaptation edition, whatever, of the Gibiate being 3D along with the drawn art style of the characters. Other than that, the only thing that is 3D are the Gibiate. It is easy for me to accept that it's 3D, but I can't let it go up any higher than a 6 because of the 3D and poor fighting scenes. But if you're into that stuff, then yeah, you might like it, might not. Who knows? But the show itself have more story than fighting scenes, which is why I actually like the show up pretty good. Pretty good, wow. Which is why I like the show a lot. But anyways, moving on to the third topic and last topic, because this one is probably the deciding factor for the overall rating, the uniqueness of the entire anime. Alright, to explain the uniqueness rating, first is 1 out of 10, just like the other two. But it also determines on how often I see a story concept similar to Gibiate, how often I see just plain characters and no character development, and even if the story is good. So the story uniqueness level are actually somewhat connected. If it's really unique, the story rating will go up like 1 point, but the story is good, but the uniqueness is very bland, the story point will go down or whatever, or unique. It's like they're connected but at the same time not connected. It's hard to explain, but basically the higher uniqueness the better, which should be kind of obvious, but whatever. If I had to rate this uniqueness, it would be a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, just for the simple fact the only thing that I have ever seen in my life that's even remotely similar to Gibiate's story is the Call of Duty zombie franchise, the Aether story. There's post-apocalyptic world like it, there's time travel introduced, there's a third factor that I cannot say just for the simple fact that it will spoil the show. And that was a lot of words. Anyways, but yeah, the uniqueness is really high. There's still one other thing. Actually, since there's only one other thing that I can think of that's similar to this anime, it's going up to a 10 out of 10. Just no cap. You're probably not going to see a story like this for a while unless someone try to rip off the story, which hopefully does not happen. That being said, the overall rating of this entire anime will have to be an 8 out of 10 just because it has literally been carried up to that point by uniqueness in the story itself, but the animation brings it down. Kind of disappointing, yeah, I know, but it's just what it is. That being said, there's some thoughts I need to add to it. So some quick thoughts just to add about this anime is that 3 main parts, there are some plot holes. By plot holes, I mean some things that are not necessarily explained in the show, or something that's not like that doesn't go completely with the story itself, that just makes no sense altogether. So basically the same thing. Things that aren't explained well, that aren't explained well, and things that don't necessarily make sense. There are plot holes in the show. There's not a lot, but the few that do exist bugs me, like a lot. There's also plot armors, like some things that happen really shouldn't happen. Just plot armor up to a certain degree, because the anime itself is actually really realistic still. And on top of that, it's a really short anime. So there's only 12 episodes, so if you're looking for something short, a quick watch, a weekend show to watch, Gibiate is definitely a good choice. Like I said, if you like those post-apocalyptic worlds like Fallout and Call of Duty Zombies. Other than that, like, that's basically the show itself. Like I said, overall 8 out of 10 A. I highly suggest watching the show as a short watch, though there are better suggestions in my opinion, like Naruto, One Piece, but those are long animes. Also, one quick add-on. Since this is coming out October 2nd, by the time this video is released, that is when the first episode of Jujutsu Kaisen comes out, which you can't expect me to do a review video of the first 2 episodes. Or first episode, I can guarantee it. Second episode, I cannot, but I will do a review of the first episode minimum. And there's a bunch of anime coming out in October. Most of them not necessarily big name, but I could add, I'll probably add what they are in the description and the dates for the first episode release. I will do a review on at least 1 or 2 of them because Haikyuu and Danmachi is also coming out in October, or the next season of both shows are coming out. So I will be watching those as well as like some other animes I have on my list. But you can't expect a review video of Jujutsu Kaisen at the very minimum. That being said, if you enjoyed this video, please hit a like or subscribe, but it doesn't really matter as long as you enjoyed or found this video helpful. That being said, I do plan on making these videos weekly, if not bi-weekly on Fridays, because this actually takes a lot of work to do and planning. Two things I don't like doing. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like or not. Who cares? Peace.